You're listening to Short Inspirations from Ralph. What is God's will for my life? Part 2. The very best ways for you and I to find what God's will is for our lives is to firstly bow the knee to Him, submit to His Lordship, make Him Lord of all of your life, and stay close to Him. Seek Him beyond all other things that you could run after. After all, this is exactly what Jesus did. This is the precise thing He did when He was on earth. He said, it's not His will, but the will of the one who sent me. He said that in John 6. Secondly, come to a realization that you do not compare yourselves with other people, but you are crafted and beautifully put together by the hand of God. There is no one else like you. And thirdly, realize that man's ways of doing things and thinking and actions are not God's ways. Paul even said to the Romans, don't be conformed to this world. That is, stop imitating the ideals and opinions of the culture around you. And Paul says in Romans 12:2, but be inwardly transformed. That's in the inside of you by the Holy Spirit through a total reformation of how you think. And here it is, here's the punchline. This will empower you to discern God's will as you live a beautiful life, satisfying and perfect in His eyes. Remembering, of course, that He's the one that makes you perfect through what He's done for you on the cross. Here's a statement that I want to unpack. God's will is not a tightrope. It is a playground. What do I mean by that? Well, when you think of a tightrope, it's usually a very narrow piece of wire that you've got to walk across. And if you step out of line, if you make a mistake, you're a goner. And that's how some can treat the will of God. Be very careful. Have a forensic look at everything you do. Because if you step out of line, you're out of God's favour and His will. It can be a position that is governed by fear and dread about being offside with God. And also we can link this will of God thing with gaining God's eternal favour or disfavour. And we can't do that. Why is that? Well, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ and He has cleansed you on the inside, then His favour is already with you before you do anything, before you move an atom. He is pleased with you. His favour is upon you. And then anything you do for Him is part of the praise and worship and gratitude package that we have, which we freely offer. So God's will is more like a playground than a tightrope. What does that mean? We sung a song in church this morning, and the chorus went, you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. And then it went on to say, I am loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. So He sets us free to go into His playground and to make choices according to those things that delight us and that we're passionate about. And God becomes that great cheerleader that is clapping and smiling at the choices we make. And in children's terms, we can go and play on the seesaw or swing or jungle gym or some climbing apparatus. And it's as if He's saying, wow, what a great choice. Go for it. And of course, there are boundaries around the playground. And they're like the things we live by, the life-giving principles, the 10 Commandments, for example. All those things that society have been built on become the boundaries that we operate within. These boundaries are incredibly important, but they're also life-giving and they free you up. How does that work? I heard a great illustration some years ago of a childcare centre, actually a preschool, that was positioned in a very large field in a big square. And around each edge of this field or square were busy roads. And when the children came out to play from their building, they usually kept very close to the building because there was danger out there. There were busy roads with noisy vehicles. So they put fences all the way around the field. They couldn't see the vehicles, they could only hear them slightly. And get this, when they went out to play, they played in the whole field, all over the field, right over near the fences, because they were free to. And that's a great illustration of this incredible freedom that we can have with boundaries in our lives. God bless you today.